What bounces when dropped, flows like a liquid, and is a common child toy? If you guessed Silly Putty, you're right. Silly Putty is a combination of various ingredients, giving it its form for which it's known for. In the article, Science Becomes a Toy, it is described as a viscous liquid over a long period of time and an elastic solid over a short period of time. What that means is that in its normal state, Silly Putty is solid but still pliable and somewhat elastic, giving it its ability to bounce. However, if you let it sit for a while, it will flatten out and form a puddle, almost like a liquid. Silly Putty has a somewhat interesting history. During World War II, the U.S. had a severe shortage of rubber, which was vital for producing items such as tires, gas, masks, and boots. The government got some help from citizens who were willing to donate spare rubber, but they were still short. This is what prompted them to start funding research into synthetic rubber compounds they could use instead of rubber. Credit for creating Silly Putty is still disputed to this day, but has been narrowed down to one of three people: Earl Warwick, Harvey Chin, and James Wright. Warwick claims he received the patent before Wright did, but Crayola, who owns the rights to Silly Putty, gives the credit to Wright. On Crayola's official website, sillyputty.com, it states James Wright invented it in 1949. Even though it would bounce when dropped, stretch farther than regular rubber, refrain from collecting mold, and have a very high melting temperature, it did not contain all of the properties necessary to replace rubber, so it went unused for several years. Scientists from all over were unable to find a practical use for the product, but in 1949, its luck would change. According to Tim Walsh, author of Timeless Toys, a toy store owner named Ruth Fallgatter came across the item and decided to sell it out of a catalog, giving it its first name, Nutty Putty. Although it was very successful, Ruth did not decide to pursue it. Her marketing consultant, Peter Hodgson, did see it had potential, however, and bought the rights to it and gave it its famous name, Silly Putty. A year later, in 1951, Peter was almost put out of business when a main ingredient, silicone, was put on ration, but luckily it only lasted for a year and went on to become a huge success. In 1957, Silly Putty aired its first commercial during a Howdy Doody show. A few years later, it became an international hit as well, making it to Germany, Italy, Switzerland, and Russia. In 1961, it would take it one step further and make it to the moon. The astronauts aboard the Apollo 8 used it in space because it helped keep their tools in place when there was zero gravity. In 1976, Peter Hodgson died and Crayola bought the rights to Silly Putty. To this day, Silly Putty still remains a big hit in the toy world and sells over 2 million units every year.
What was the time?